Hello and welcome to the Prosperity Portal podcast. I'm your host, Jill Alana, and I'm here to support you in everything you need to prosper in health, wealth, and relationship. I'm obsessed with everything manifestation, soul path, intuition, somatic embodiment healing, and I'm looking forward to supporting you in liberating to a life of love and luxury. True empowerment, true sovereignty, and aligned soul manifestation. I'm the founder of Jill Alana International, Jai Activations, and Jai Breathwork. And without further ado, let's go to the show and get you resourced in everything pro your spirit. Hello, beautiful souls. So today on the podcast, I have an amazing guest, Karen, who has an incredibly inspiring story. She completely changed her life 3 years ago after coming to a Jai Breathwork ceremony. She left a relationship that was so out of alignment and was really negatively affecting her energy field. We will spare you the details, but she didn't have the courage to leave before because her power essentially was being taken away. She was giving it away. And she called it back in that ceremony and made that choice and got deep clarity, as well as stopping smoking weed. I have seen this woman from that point completely and drastically change her life, start her business, soon to be 2 businesses, manifest her soulmate. And after my retreat this year, she manifested her dream house. So this is just a testimony of the power of this work. If you are willing to step into this work, I hope you use this story as deep inspiration. She also is giving energy healing massages. If you are in or around Calgary, Alberta, I will be definitely getting one the next time I am back. Highly recommend her services. And she's stepping into detox coaching, which she has been doing detox protocols and learning all about this from her own mentors for the past 2 years. Detox, as we talk about in the podcast, is a very important part of the metamorphosis journey, the transformational journey, and really reaching those levels of success and our greatest potential. So without further ado, let's go to the show. Oh, and one more thing before we jump in. If you have not joined Soul Sales September yet, and you are not living in extreme abundance, and there's always another level of abundance, let's be honest, then I highly recommend you sign up. It is $38 until September 7th. After September 7th, we will be increasing the price every single day, a mysterious amount. It is 3.5 weeks of your holy Bible of holy sales and source provision. So you know the codes, the actions, the energy, and basically the cosmic playbook of how always to be abundantly provided for on your soul mission. Because I know every single soul listening to this has a big mission, has pure intent, and is quite frankly here to change the world. We need you abundantly resourced. And there are certain cosmic laws of sacred reciprocity and depositing into the quantum bank and withdrawing from the quantum bank and holy provision and the actions and surrender and intentions that we need to follow in order to have this holy provision, because Source doesn't just provide for anyone in any place. There's certain energetics and actions and intentions that we must hold and show up for in order to have the highest level of holy provision, so that we're resourced so abundantly and can live the highest frequency life, take care of ourselves, our vessel, and quite frankly, never have to worry about money ever again. So if you haven't signed up, the link is in the show notes. This literally should be at least $3,800, but it is $38 until September 7th. Okay. I love you. Oh, and there are replays until October 22nd, and then it will be going in a secret place, which stay tuned for that because we have some exciting stuff coming up. Okay, without further ado, let's go to the show. Welcome back to the Prosperity Portal podcast. Today on the podcast, we have beautiful Karen, and she has an amazing, amazing story. Well, a few actually. Let's be honest. Spinning back to 3 years ago, a breathwork ceremony when they were called shamanic breathwork ceremonies. We've now switched to Jai, but it is a blend of shamanic breathwork and source energy healing, etc., and soul reclamation. So, firstly, would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay. I've been going as Care now again.
Love that.
Actually, yeah, fully embodied it when I moved back to Calgary. I was still kind of like, it's kind of what I want people to call me, but I've never really told other people. So now I actually introduce myself that way to like my neighbors in the neighborhood.
So this is Care. I like it. It's very like soft. Yeah. But I met her as Karen, so
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I have now begun working on detox and cleansing, working on helping to clear my body of toxic substances, parasites, and really working physically. I think that's me.
Yeah.
And that's my gift to humanity is I'm very much like a physical creature. So all of the esoteric and the like really cool stuff that happens, I'm aware of and I believe in. But for me, like I was a dancer growing up.
Yeah.
So I've always been in my body, very aware, very sensitive, very like in tune with the physical.
Yeah.
So, and then I do massage therapy. Another the physical modality, working on tension in the muscles and then connecting that with energy.
Yeah.
And recognizing that the channels of energy in our body can get blocked and clogged up with these toxic substances.
Yeah.
Food additives, chemicals in the air.
Yeah.
You know, everything that we're exposed to. So that's going to stop your progress.
Yeah.
And
can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
So like I did colon detox too, actually, and then a liver detox. And the first time I did the colon detox, it literally like was so awful. There was something so deep stuck. It was shame because we carry shame in the colon. And so like it was, you know, like the physical aspect of it, what I look at it as like body, mind, soul, because we have to work with what's the soul lesson, what's stuck in the somatic body, which is what you do with massage and what I do with breath work. And then also like the mind, the unconscious mind, what paradigm or concept is my unconscious mind not wanting to let go of.
Yeah.
And so when we just work, like we're in a physical reality and an energetic reality, and we have to kind of work with both. And this is where sometimes in the spiritual communities, love spiritual communities, but sometimes it's very like etheric and like not integrated and actualized. And that it's through the physical body that the manifestations happen. So I love that you said that, because that work is so like both aspects of your work are so important together, because dang, like I wish I was I used massage and energy work. I'm like, what am I hanging on to? The next one was much more smooth because I figured out what I needed to release. But yeah, I actually ended up getting a massage on day 4 of that on my stomach. And that's when things like started to move. And I was like, oh, like, and of course I did a lot of energy work on it as well, but it was really that physical aspect mixed with energy, mixed with like the detox that was like, oh, now the like things in my life shifted as well. So like it was a very spiritual experience when I went through those cleanses. It wasn't just like, let's detox the body. So I love that you're like bridging both of these.
Thank you. Yeah. I have so many ideas and things I want to do, and I believe it will help bridge people as well to other modalities like you, or to other spiritual teachers, or practitioners that they can use as well while they're doing the healing
100%.
work.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so let's spin back to your story.
Back. Shamanic breath work in
years ago?
2022. Yes.
Whoa.
I didn't want to go to the breath work.
Of course. Okay, let's talk about this for a second too. So many juicy nuggets in here. The ego will do everything to stop you from the next level of evolution. Like literally everything. Every time I invest in something that's going to change my life, my ego is like, don't do it, don't do it. Even when I do my own breath work, the replays of the ones I do online, I'll do like a replay of the ones, because I clear them every day. So I make sure it's like one that's active, so to speak. And then I'll go in and do it. And it's like I know how powerful it is. Like it completely shifted my life too. And my ego is like, don't do it. This isn't working like the first 10 minutes. And I name her Shakira, as you know,
right?
Talk about this in the camera. And I tell her, Shakira, go away. You can come back after. So the ego will stop us. So wherever there's resistance, there's a portal of opportunity there. So what happened when you didn't want to go? Like, was it just thought constructs? Was it?
Well, I knew I was scared. Like, I just knew how intense it was. So I was like, oh, I'm scared to do this. Like, it's so much. And then, I'm pretty sure I messaged you and I had even said like, oh, I'm like on my cycle. I don't know if I have the energy, you know, blah, blah. Yeah. And you're like, actually, that's a really good thing. You can move more stuff and clear during that time. So I was committed. I wanted to support you and your new business. And, you know, I thought, well, I mean, I'm going regardless.
I didn't know what was coming.
But I had no idea. I did set the intention for clarity. Yeah. And also to stop smoking weed was part of it, which was twofold. A, it was something that I was ready to let go of, but B, it also helped me to maintain the clarity through the next month, because I basically became so clear in my decision to leave my marriage and move my children back to Alberta, because that's where all of our family is. And what happened after the breath work, again, for me, things are very visceral in feeling. I was convinced or convicted that it was the right choice, even though I had struggled to make that choice in the past with all the doubt and the fear and how can I make this work? It's impossible or whatever it is. Like, this is the right choice. So I was so clear afterwards when I told myself I'm leaving, everything felt good. Like heart, head, heart, stomach was calm and in alignment. And anytime I would doubt myself and question leaving him, I felt sick to my stomach. Like intuition. Literally, like just like I wanted to throw up. It was so viscerally like off. Like, oh, that is absolutely a no. Like
I remember that ceremony. I don't know how I remember ceremonies, but I do. And I remember there was something in your solar plexus. There's trauma in your solar plexus. And I literally saw you claiming your power back and these soul fragments coming back, and it activated our center of power. This is the center of boundaries, our center of will as well. So once that was activated and the trauma started transmuting and clearing, you were clear. And I think some people think intuition, and then you had access to your intuition. So when we have a lot of trauma stored in the body, or if we're in fight and flight, which is what happens is like something similar will happen in life. Say you got in an accident, and then now I had a ski accident. So then I was like terrified of skiing until I worked through that trauma. And so my body felt like it was still happening 18 years later. So this happens in anything that's similar to situation. Like some people, if they're sexually abused by a man, they'll think men are dangerous, and it's just unconscious fight and flight. And then they think their intuition is the fear, but the fear is not the intuition. Intuition, when we're in our emotions, like over 18% emotional, we can skew and manipulate our intuition unless we train it. And so what that means is like, we literally, anytime a trauma comes up, our body will be like fear, contraction, all of these things. And the intuition, so when you felt that contraction, that was your intuition, but you were already clear. What happens sometimes is people you're like, oh, I don't want to go. That was the fear coming up. So that was an intuitive guidance, but some people will think, oh, that thing that's going to change my life. But and the contraction, if it's because of the ego or trauma, or trauma is going to come up and get transmuted, which takes courage. It's a process. It's a powerful process though. And like in one ceremony, you can get that clarity. I saw your life shift, which we'll talk about. I keep seeing it shift and I love it. And it just gets better and better. And that's a byproduct of you taking your power back. So when it was cleared, all of it was calm. And this is the place where intuition really lives. It's not this like big thing. It's subtle, like source, creator, God speaks to us in subtle ways. It's like this nudge. It's not like super intense. And so when we have this intensity, there's either trauma, or when your gut was like, oh no, I can't stay. That was your intuition, because you had transmuted so much trauma and came to that clarity. So I just wanted to make that discernment for people, because I was so confused about this for so long. And as I've tracked my life and my intuition and trained it, it's like, okay, this is intuition, this is fear, this is trauma. And like, I will work through, if a big trauma comes up, I'll work through that trauma before I'll intuitively check in about something. Because anytime I've made a decision out of my trauma, it's not going well. Lots of lessons.
Yes.
Okay,
Sure,
so
right?
You took your power back in that ceremony. And then you were clear and you made the choice, not knowing how it was going to work out. And that's where your radical courage. And this is why one of the reasons I believe you continue to be rewarded on a soul level and provided for, because you're having the courage to walk into the unknown. And I believe source will reward us always when we choose sovereignty and when we choose our soul and our soul path, which you did. So you went to the ceremony, you were clear, you picked up. I remember you messaged me, you're like, I packed and I moved back to Calgary or something. And like, I was like, whoa, that was quick.
Yeah. I had to wait for my children to finish school. Like that was it. I think the ceremony was the beginning of June. And so it was just about like letting them graduate and going through the motions. And then we had already planned to come to Calgary for the summer.
Yeah.
So that was sort of it. And it was just kind of like, okay, I'm leaving and I'm not going back.
Yeah.
So that was it.
And that, like, I just want to talk about this for a second, because I was having a conversation the other day and with somebody who's in a situation that he feels like he can't leave, and he knows he needs to leave. And I said to him, you won't be able to actually leave until you literally claim your power back and you transmute that imprint, because what happens is we get magnetized to what we're an energetic match to. So even if he leaves the situation, he's going to recreate it way worse with somebody else. And so it's these imprints that distort our magnet, and they literally draw things to us that are not good for us on a soul level. I've been in this experience more than once in different areas in my life. So like I've learned to discern what it is. And so when we do like shamanic breath work, for example, or now Jai breath work, that's a modality that will literally shift your energetic field so that you weren't a magnet to that same energetic that you were with your ex-husband.
For sure. And for so many other times in my life as well.
So that was a repeat of the same energetic.
Yeah. It was like, I thought it was different, and then it kind of turned out to be similar. And again, me abandoning myself was really the key theme. And before doing the breath work and actually shifting the energy, I probably would have been more susceptible to his lures to try and get me back, right? But it was a full stop no. Like no therapy, no counseling. It's just like, doors closed. So if you hadn't shifted that imprint, those allures would have probably drawn you back. Or like I said, they would have magnetized, and I speak from experience, the exact same energetic in somebody else. Fair enough.
And so when we shift these imprints, our whole life shifts. And also the soul abandonment. So you started following your soul, even though, like, hear this, guys, because this is a key to manifestation, even though you didn't know how it was going to work out. When we follow our soul and choose sovereignty, I've done other podcasts on this. There's one called the choice that precedes every money manifestation. When we choose sovereignty, we are always divinely supported, but the support comes after the choice. because it's kind of like a test of like, are you actually going to choose yourself? That's the key. That's the soul lesson. And then with soul lessons, we have them at different levels as well. There's like level 1 to 10, which is so fun. Stakes are higher every time. But anyways, we'll talk about that a little bit more later, maybe. So you chose yourself, you came back here, shifted your life, you started your business, now 2 businesses.
Yeah, technically I'm in the works of the second one still. But yeah, no idea what I would do. I have my family here. And so I just sort of dropped a bomb on everybody like, hey, we're moving in. You know, you love me. They put up with us for 3 years. Yeah, and exactly that, like figuring out what am I gonna do now? Because I loved being a mom, and my vision of my family was that I would be at home, working maybe part-time, but my full-time career was raising my children and educating them and making sure they were healthy and eating homemade meals and everything like that. So
just like the most important job.
Yeah.
So don't downplay it. Yeah,
exactly. And I loved that. I really did. And I think that's what, you know, made it all worthwhile for as long as I did remain in the marriage. It was still the trade-off, right? That we talk about too. So there was still a benefit in it. But now everything had shifted, and it was definitely time to get back to my soul path, which I had kind of abandoned as well. And actually. And so I was revisiting that side of myself and remembering the power that I have within to create and I don't know, give.
I like how you say create and give in that order, because this is a big thing. So you come to a few ceremonies, and then we'll talk about the retreat and the manifestation. But the biggest thing, and so many women struggle with this, it's one of my biggest soul lessons too, is to put ourselves first and make sure we're nourished. And when we start to actually nourish ourselves, then we can actually serve from a full cup. Sorry about Opal. He's having jamming out there. For those of you listening in the audio, it's my dog. He's in the back behind me, sitting behind me, making a little bed. I'm trying to get attention. There you go. Oh, there you go, honey. So it's, and I believe, I won't go into like details, but you were working through like, so you're in a new relationship. Yes. And then some things came up, as they always do, because relationships are the biggest mirror. And I believe one of the biggest shifts you made was choosing yourself to work through that and deepen that. Is that correct?
This is recently you're talking about? Or the new?
Well, since like December, whenever that ceremony was, you started choosing yourself fully.
It was, actually, you're right. I forgot about that.
I remember saying in the ceremony, because I remember when I pulled the cards and I do the mini channeling.
And I was downplaying it because I wasn't, you're right. I still wasn't speaking up. And fully, authentically being real with myself and what I want. So both of us were still working through some trauma. And so it was a wonderful new relationship in the first year. Was quite beautiful. And then it was literally like almost a year in, and then things started to get like funky and weird, but we didn't want to talk about it really. We wanted to sort of spend time together in good spirits and
put it under the rug.
Exactly.
Okay, so do you know why for the first year it was like amazing?
Well, they always say the honeymoon phase, right? You know, you're not
exactly. And so what happens is like our souls want us to like, the deepest growth happens in romantic relationships. Like that's kind of the deepest level. There's things out that there's a lot you can heal outside. And then there's things that you can't actually heal outside of that. So you kind of need that deeper reflection and that bond. So our souls want us to bond with somebody who's high compatibility, high match, but the higher the match, the more triggering. And so, because they're illuminating everything, but wherever the triggers are, that's the opportunity of growth to the next level of wealth, of abundance, love, healing, expansion, all of it, joy, peace. And so the soul will bond us. And then what happens is the EMF field comes into play after like 6 to 12 months. And then all of now they're reading our script that we're handing out instead of just being in the honeymoon phase. And we're like, why did things shift? But our energy was always that. So there was just deeper layers of that same soul lesson that were coming up. So you could more deeply step into your power and create like an even more amazing relationship. So this is like a common thing people don't understand. They're like, where did things shift? And it's like, oh, well, now your EMF field, they're responding to that. Whereas at the beginning, it almost like, I don't want to say bypasses it, but almost, because the souls are like, oh, okay, if it's not a trauma bond, which is, it doesn't sound like it is. If it's a trauma bond, it's like, oh, this is so bad for me and I can't leave. But if it's like, oh, this is amazing, that's the soul is being like, great, there's growth here, there's expansion, there's connection. Let's go deeper. And then the deeper stuff blows up. And you're like, and most people are like, let's put it under. But the thing is men and women can both feel this. We can feel it in the field of resonance, because it's our energy fields are combining. And even if like 98% of communication is nonverbal, and especially with a partner, we're so tapped in, especially as women. Some people push things under the rug. Firstly, shame, which then starts to control our behavior, and shame can only live in secrecy. And secondly, the problem will start because the soul wants the lesson to be learned. It wants us to see that reflection and be like, oh no, I forgot how powerful I am to choose myself, to choose love. And so I just lost my train of thought for a second. Oh, okay. So then it will amplify. The more we push it under, the bigger it gets. And the bigger it gets, we cannot run from these reflections.
Well, and energetically, I think that's it. Like on the surface, we could still like hang out and go on dates.
Yeah.
But there was, and you know what, it might have even been about 6 months where the EMF field was starting to be read, because it wasn't really verbal yet, but then it definitely went back when things came to the surface. It's like, this happened and this happened and this happened. And we're like, oh my gosh, like you didn't say anything at the time, or you like didn't like actually fully discuss the thing that you were feeling or whatever. Anyways, and then again, definitely our own traumas and our own energy coming out in front of us. So like it basically almost ended in January, and that was after that ceremony. I had kind of spoken up about something, but maybe I was being like a little bitchy about it and more like meh, like energetically there was like some stuff that had happened, and so it was anyways. But then he like just blew up, and then like I said, all the things from like 6 months prior all of a sudden were just like, and this and this and this, and then like, oh my gosh, and is this really how you see me?
Because they get put in the shadow, and then they control behavior, and then hidden resentment builds up, which by the way, for abundance, the worst thing ever, it creates a debt field. Hidden resentment's no bueno. And when we don't out things and share, that's actually a key to deeper intimacy, is that vulnerability from a place of love. So like you had stacked up stuff. So of course it probably came out in maybe not the best way, but you had no choice because it had been building. And then he had his reaction, and then there was things going on. And this is what, when we share things, sometimes it can trigger people's shadows, because truth, speaking our truth or universal truth, will trigger people's shadows. And if they're not willing to look at the moment because it's uncomfortable, then some people can run. So like momentarily you came back to yourself.
And I remember now, we did a shamanic ceremony, but it was also right after we did data.
I know. I remember I sent you a transmission in the group chat.
That's what it was.
I was in Austin. I remember specifically in the hotel room, and I looked into some things, and we were like, super cute. And basically it was like, focus on yourself, fill your cup. There were some other things, but and then I don't know what happened. Then all of a sudden you guys were back together, you were coming to the retreat, we talked about those manifestations.
Well, so it was about 2 months. I decided that once again, I had somewhat tethered myself to a man
Mm-hmm.
and created the idea that he would help to save me in a sense,
Interesting.
right? Like having the security and
Yeah.
my pattern in the past was kind of like morphing into
Yeah.
something that they not it was something that they want.
Who do I need to be for them to not leave me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even sort of getting involved in the same things, or you know what I mean, being like, okay, well, what can we do together? And I was like, okay, wait a second, if I didn't have Phil, like what would I be doing? Like what am like I need to get back to that,
to you
and the business that I had been, and he was very supportive.
Yeah.
Like he was very different
Yeah.
than men I'd been with in the past. And he's like, I always supported you in your business. I always like cheered you on and kept like trying to lift you up and motivate you to do your stuff. But I was like, yeah, this is a me thing.
That was interesting. I have something to say after.
Okay. So basically I did choose to sort of let it go. Like it sucked. It was really shitty, but I didn't try to get him back. I didn't. I was like, I'm not going to beg for this. If you don't want it, I'm not for it.
Yeah.
Right. Like it has to be divine union, and it's not me being like, oh my gosh, but I need you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I decided full stop. And to refocus, like you said, to be like, what is Karen about, and what am I bringing to the world, and how am I going to do that, regardless of whether or not I have a man in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
and that was tough.
So tough, and such a big key, because and I would say honestly, like probably 90+% of relationships, maybe even more, maybe 95, are actually based in that energetic, subtly or profoundly, that you talked about. Who do I need to be for them not to leave? That's a manipulation. When we manipulate ourselves, then we're going to get manipulated, because manipulation can only be met with manipulation. Or if they manipulate themselves, it's like this dynamic that I had been stuck in a couple of years ago. And when I was like, whoa, this is not love. I need to come back to the resonance of love. That began to dissolve, and my life opened up to so much more, because again, like attracts like. And so many people, because of trauma, are stuck in, it's the abandonment wound that I believe we all have on some level, because like we're built to work and live in tribes. And so if we learn, if mommy and daddy won't leave if I'm XYZ way, or if I'm good enough, or if I'm smart enough, or if I'm the best, or if I make enough money, we start to perform. And now we can't reach actual intimacy. And then it becomes this whole thing is like manipulation, which is so much energy, instead of like meeting in divine union, meeting from that field of love. This is my truth. This is who I am. And like sharing all parts of ourselves. This also dissolves shame, which is such a big key as well, because shame's such a dense frequency. And so you started to enter, it was a deeper level, a deeper initiation of you entering into your sovereignty and your truth, authenticity, as you know, is the highest embodied frequency. And so when you started to do that, I'm curious of how you came back together, but energetically what I'm seeing is you started to magnetize him back. And this is where you choose to enter a relationship. He chooses, versus like trauma bonding, or versus like that needing energy, and that kind of like, for lack of a better word, like you stepped in from like a subtle victimhood to becoming the victor of your life, which is the name of my business, Jai.
Yeah.
Victory. But like truly, and at that, you started to create deeper sovereignty. And I'm sure these energetics showed up in your business too, because when we're one way in one area, we're that way in another area in some way, shape, or form. And so this is truly how we start to create our dream life. Like this is part of the reason with like, well, the manifestation we'll talk about in a second, because you're continuing to walk the path of, well, sovereignty, what your soul is guiding you to, but of your truth. If there's the biggest key for creating our dream life, I would say it's living in our truth. But that's hard, because are they going to be angry at me? Fawn response. I mean, I have a huge history of that. I'm still working through layers of it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to think I'm a bitch if I say no. And I'm like, whoa, it's a soul lesson to say no and actually hold boundaries and this and that. And so, but that's where our true power is. And as we walk this, and this is my belief, I believe source and our higher selves wants us to be sovereign human beings all of us, so that we can all offer gifts to the world in co-creation, instead of like feeling like we kind of what's the energetic codependent type dynamics, whether it's relationship, business, friendships. It's like, this is who I am authentically, and other people saying this is who I am authentically, and really honoring themselves. Because a true friendship, I look at like one of my dearest friends, we've been friends for like over 10 years. And then even another one, like, wow, like 21 years. It is that this is who I am. And I've evolved, I've shifted. I am like a completely different person than I was even a year ago. You've seen me shift, but like 21 years ago, whoa. And it's like, she shifted, both of them are shifted. And the friends that kind of have transcended time and space are not necessarily the ones who are like doing this type of work, or like are healers as well. Like, sure, but it's more so they're honoring who I am fully, and I can be fully authentically me. And they might not understand it, and I might not understand certain things that they do, but I honor that they're authentically them, and there is no morphine. That's a true friendship. That's a true divine union. That's a true, this is where our power is in business as well. Does this feel good? This is what feels good to me. Okay, that doesn't feel quite good. This would feel good to me. Oh, let me check in. Yeah, that feels good to me too. Great. Co-creation, no codependence.
Sorry, I find that really hard. I was just like feeling into that when you were saying that, like not morphing.
It's one of the hardest things. It's probably, and it's the biggest key.
Yeah, a huge struggle,
like
for me.
Yeah, even at the retreat, like, remember like the dance exercise, that was like one of the kind of like exposures of like shame to bliss and freedom. And it's the reason it's so vulnerable, authentically being ourselves, or sorry, the reason it's so hard is because it's vulnerable, because of shame, because we're taught we have to be a certain version. School, sit there, don't talk, ask for the bathroom, all of the programming, we're literally like dissolving all of this programming that's like shackled us energetically. And as we do that, we create sovereignty. And as we liberate ourselves, we start to liberate other people in our field, and eventually humanity. And it is one of the hardest things. This is the embodiment of walking the path. And I've seen you do it. I've seen you do it and do it again. And it is hard. It's hard for me. Like, I think people think, oh, it just looks so easy. You guys knew. I did a podcast yesterday on like reflections that I faced in the manifestation. I'm like, I got to tell people about like what the path truly is, because it's not just sunshine and butterflies. The manifestations and the creation, and like even the dynamics and shifts in like family and relationship that you're deeply yearning for, those are a byproduct of us doing this work. And it is, like, I'll give you an example. It's so vulnerable, but like even around my dad, I used to fawn, and I didn't realize I was shape shifting, and he didn't ever like respect me. And now that shifted, now he's like respecting me, is like a completely different dynamic, and our relationship has gotten so much better. And I'm clear that that's where I started to take my sovereignty back. And because I wasn't honoring my truth, I didn't feel like what I do as living a crafted soul path was honored. And now that I honor my truth, they don't need to understand, but they honor it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's really interesting.
It's such a, these are subtle nuances of like the mirror of life. Such subtle nuances. I've tracked so much of it. I'm like, whoa, how did I create this? Like,
you just said the mirror of life, and we were talking about my experience with my friends.
Yes.
And this is really the theme, is that like I don't feel like I can be fully authentic, and it is like me not honoring me, thinking that it's not okay in their presence,
Yeah.
Like, and I just don't even know how to.
This is your, do you want a key right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I gave this to somebody else. So, foreshadowing, I gave this to somebody else about 3 months ago. And it was so interesting because she actually visited Vancouver, and she messaged me, and she's like, I didn't get a chance to see her, but she was like, I'm attracting, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but she was attracting friends, but she didn't fully authentically feel like she could be herself. And some of these not all of them, but there was a couple of them. She's like, I know they're bad for me, but I'm getting drawn to them. And I said, look, you'll know people are meant to be in your life when you can fully, authentically be you and they're still there.
These are lifelong people, like family.
What do you think is going to happen? Firstly, what part of yourself is hiding from them?
Well, just things that I believe, and it's all this like COVID bullshit that divided people, which is so good at doing it, right? And so I think everybody just pretends, and like they do, like on the surface they would say, we don't have to believe in the same things to still love each other. Like they're actually able to sort of overcome some of that to a certain extent. But even Phil could feel this like underlying theme, and even he said the energy was off when we got there. He's like, she was very different than the last time we saw each other. So and so I just feel like people in general aren't able to be fully authentic because of the fear of judgment and the fear of like conflict and just not being on the same page about things. So I don't even know how to accept me.
Yeah. So your first thing is there's like a subtle, and it's so subtle, need for like kind of their approval, their validation. The first thing is to self-validate.
Well, yeah.
And have source validate you, God validate you. And it's so hard. The second piece is there's nuances here that I've learned, because that whole thing, I mean, I could go down a rabbit hole, I won't right now, but it was meant to divide people and families. And I went through that with my family. Like for a bit, getting uninvited to my brother's wedding, etc. And now we have such an amazing relationship. But it was a really intense period, and this happened with a lot of people. And so I'll speak to this in a different way now, of like having different beliefs. I have very different beliefs than most of my family. But can I validate what I know to be true? Like I know, because I have so much life experience and so many miracles and healings, and just like have gone through so many initiations, and be the embodiment of that without trying to explain it, without trying to have that need them to understand for me to be validated. And this starts with, again, the power within, that self-validation. So that's your next level of work, is that deeper, can I validate myself and then show up in a way where I don't need to prove, I don't need to explain. It's just like, it's crazy, because I spent New Year's with my parents and some of their family friends, and they thought I was a counselor, because anyways, I'm not a counselor, I guess, in some way, shape, or form. Somatic healer. But they were like asking about my business. I'm like, how much can I say? How much can I not? And when we're so grounded in it, it's crazy how open people are. But I'll gauge where they're at of what I can say. Like I do trauma healing to help people reach their potentials. High performance coaching, like it really depends who I'm around. Other people, I'm like, I'm a manifestation teacher, I go really woo, I do shamanic healing, like intuition, can read people's blueprints. And so like the other day I was horseback riding, and the instructor, she's super into this, but I didn't know, maybe she'll listen to this podcast one day. And she just did my activation, and like I started kind of like sussing out, and I'm like, well, I do like somatic healing, trauma healing. And then I could tell she's more open to it because of the way she was teaching, which really resonated with me, because she was using energy and colors. And I was like, this clicks in my brain because it's intuition. And then it started to open more and more and more. And then we were talking about horse healing and how somebody healed colic from this horse with just energy. And I'm like, yeah, that's like shamanic blockage removal. And but I didn't need her validation. But when I used to show up, I was like, people would ask what I do, and I'd be like, I don't have an elevator pitch. And it was like shame, because there was a piece of me that was still looking for their approval, instead of just being so grounded and integrated in what I know to be true, because nobody can take that away from me because of my experiences. And same with you. You've had enough experiences now, enough miracles, enough woe, that certain things to be true. And so can you validate yourself and have source validate you and show up in that energy from a true place of unconditional love for them, understanding that maybe they're not at a level of consciousness they will understand and can, and maybe they're not supposed to be in this lifetime. This is true unconditional love. Firstly, for yourself, it starts with self and then exterior. And there's so many people in certain spiritual communities that think they're better than, because they have different levels of consciousness and different perceptions. But nobody's better or worse than. It's like Opal's not better or worse than my little dude here. A baby's not better or worse than because they're not worse, unworthy because they haven't built a huge business or they haven't reached. I mean, babies probably have higher level of consciousness than all of us, and then like 3 months old, they're kind of, the constructs start to come in. But you know what I mean? And so this is where I've started to see things from such a different perspective, because I got caught in that. It's like spiritual ego a few years ago. And I was like trying to convince the world, save the world. And I realized, whoa, no, I just need to be a deeper embodiment, because there's different layers of leadership. And the first one is like zero leadership. And then it goes into ego is the lowest level. And then it goes up. The second highest level is helping others, which is probably my biggest gift, but the highest level is embodiment. And so that's been my biggest work. This is why I literally have a call with one of my mentors right after this. I have 2 mentors I work really closely with, and like, it's a lot of work. It's deep work. Last Saturday I spent like doing some really deep work and like I'm creating a manifestation. So I mixed some of my stuff and some of this stuff and like shadow work. And it's like, the path isn't necessarily easy, but in my experience, it's worth it. But that doesn't make me better than like my very 3D friends who are amazing people. It's like, what are the character traits like that I really value and resonate with? And then, I mean, my sister-in-law, for example, love her. she thinks I'm crazy, like bonkers. She literally was like, isn't this just a scam? Like a few years back, I'm like, these are testimonials. But like now we have like such, like, it's a beautiful like relationship. You know what I mean? Like I was over there last night. I was over there 2 nights ago and like hanging out with my niece. I'm going to go there on Sunday. And it's like, she does not by any means understand what I do. And it doesn't matter. I don't need her to, but there was a piece of me back then that needed that validation because I thought my worth was dependent on my work. And so it's almost like validate me for like doing this work. And when I started to really get the divine to validate me, work vertically, first things worked better. Secondly, it's like this, whoa, I actually don't need their validation. And now I can appreciate their human. And all the beautiful attributes that they have. And I'm like, she is a lot to teach me. There's things that she's amazing at that I'm definitely not. Same thing with, I've learned so much from both my brothers and my parents. I'm like, give me all your boundary codes, parents. Like, need all those. And it's like, it creates this opening for like, whoa, they're an expert in some area and they have wisdom and gifts in some area that I don't. And how can I learn from that? And
rather than comparing.
Yes. And when we're comparing or when we have hidden resentment, speak from experience, because XYZ, then they can feel that and they're responding to that. And then it creates like this friction. But when we clear that hidden resentment and we start to validate ourselves and we start to just be anchored in what we know to be true, what we believe, like you being anchored in your beliefs without needing to project those, then we can see the beauty in other people from a different level of consciousness, so to speak, a different energy. And they're not like, oh, this person's judging me. Because I bet if you experiment with this, there's a piece of you that was also like judging, why can't they see? Or why can't.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's like, it's just everybody, we're all at different levels of consciousness. We all have different Akashic records, which is like the held in the soul's blueprint of past lifetimes. And those experiences come with us into this lifetime. And we remember them in the body and the soul, not always in the mind, sometimes with past life regression. But it's sometimes like somebody will be in an older physical body and a younger soul, and it doesn't make it better or worse, but they still have wisdom that we can learn from because they have different past lives and different things in the Akashic records. And they're bringing that wisdom forwards. Maybe it's like gifted at a gifted pianist. There's a piano. My mom's amazing at piano. Like that's wisdom. That's frequency. Like sound is frequency, right? Like I don't have the ear she has. Like I don't have that talent. Like I wish I did. But so it's like, this is where too, like the whole school system structure, it's like, where it's like, you're smart, you're dumb, you're whatever. And then we take these constructs with us till we clear them and tell ourselves a different story. Got to clear the trauma. And then you can implant a different belief. But it's like, everyone just is different. And this is where everyone can start thriving and give their gifts to the world.
Yes.
And then the other stuff just doesn't matter so much because we're all on our own path. And also, like, it's interesting because you were saying, like, the first ceremony you wanted to quit weed, that was one of your intentions, and that, like, zero judgment of that at all. But what happens is it's a suppressant, so it can open certain things in the mind, but it closes our gifts down. So as you've had more clarity, you're like seeing things at much greater perspective, and this can be hard because it's like, whoa, how do I communicate with people and they're not seeing this? And it's like, it can be hard in this. I mean, we live in a society, most people are suppressing in some way, shape, or form. And so it's harder, like, seeing it from, like, oh, it's harder for them to see it at the level because there is like XYZ in their life that's suppressing them. And then the programming, and then contagions, and all of these things, media, music, all of it is like creating kind of a suppression of the soul. And so can you have compassion for that version of you? This is another piece for you back then, and kind of see that version in them in whatever way, shape, or form it's showing up, whether it's they're watching a lot of TV or news or all of this stuff. And it's like, oh, I get it, because that was me at one point. Yeah. And it's actually you having compassion for that version of you, knowing it was perfect and it was divine. That's a good point. And that you had to go through that to actually get to where you are. And this is where we can slay shame, so to speak, and make the worst thing the best thing that ever happened to us. It's like, I don't know, I've gotten a lot of lessons, and I'm like, every single time it's like, okay, I'm going to make this the best thing. I don't know how I'm going to make this the best thing. I'm looking pretty fine right now. And every single time it becomes the best thing. Like, that's why birth data, Defense Against the Dark Arts, like, through all the things I went through a thing a few weeks ago, and I was like, it was a thing. And I was like, I'm going to integrate this soul lesson so deep and make this the best thing. And I literally made something that was like not cool, like into such freedom and such a gift. And I was like, I learned the lesson. Like, it's integrated now. It's not just like I kind of know, it's like fully integrated in my body. But that thing had to happen for me to be like, this is it. This is it. It's done. Like, I'm done with like learning this lesson, and kind of like was kind of avoiding it in certain ways, because it's scary to be in your power and to actually say no, because what if I hurt their feelings? And so I don't want to hurt their feelings. So I'm going to kind of beat around the bush and kind of like not directly head on. And then when we directly head on, that's where we gain our power. And yeah, maybe they will react like a child, because that's their trauma that you're now illuminating for them to go do their work. And it's a big gift to them.
Fair.
And this, it's like, it's, I mean, I dealt with it. It was like 3 things at once. And I was like, whoa, these people are acting like children, like 2-year-olds. And I was so confused. And I was like, whoa, this is why I didn't want to hold that boundary. This is why I didn't want to say no. And they projected onto me. It was fine, because I shifted, like I cleared the imprint. And I just started laughing. I was like, that's what I was afraid of. God, I really need to learn from my parents, because they have the best boundaries. But it was afraid of hurting their feelings. So I was sacrificing part of myself, people pleasing, manipulating myself, so that they could feel appreciated, honored, loved, whatever it was. And then the moment I was like, this actually doesn't feel in alignment, it was like a bomb went off, or like some of it was in business, some of it was personal. But then I was like, oh, I literally just gave them a gift for them to get activated to actually go do their work.
Fair enough.
And for them to stop pleasing, shape shifting, and it's a deeper key to power. But it's hard to see when we're in it, because we just think we're harming somebody. And it's taken me so much tracking of like where I've had big quantum leaps and gifts in my life. And I realized they all came after an initiation. Sometimes I was at rock bottom. Sometimes I could learn it before rock bottom, and was like, oh, okay, see where this is going. I don't want to go down that path. So I'm actually going to claim my power back here. I'm actually going to honor myself. I'm actually going to XYZ. And then seeing how that challenge was the biggest thing. Somebody holding boundaries with me was the best thing for me. It taught me through embodiment. I've had so many mentors who have literally, the biggest things I've learned is through highest level of leadership, embodiment, them holding boundaries, them honoring their time, their energy. And I'm like, oh, these are codes. So, and it can be triggering sometimes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it literally lifts people out of victimhood into victor on an unconscious or conscious level, whether they know it or not.
Or whether they get it or not.
Whether they get it or not, too. Yeah. And this is where it's like, and these things can be subtle. Like there was something in business where I was going to do, somebody was going to help me with something that was like basically a 6-figure investment. They were going to do it like pro bono. And then I was going to help them with some stuff, and something felt off, and I don't know what it is. It didn't matter. I didn't need to know. And I was like, I'm going to honor myself and say no. That was hard because I was like, there were so many things in the mind, but my soul was like, this is a no. And I mean, the way they reacted, and I have so much compassion for them. I'm not judging because obviously it triggered something in their trauma. And this person's like, I mean, older than me. So I was like, oh, interesting. Like that, it didn't feel like a squeaky clean energy dynamic. And there was just something off. And so I had to just be like, no, this doesn't actually feel like a fair exchange. I don't think this is fully in alignment. And I don't know why. I could look in intuitively, but didn't really have to, because that's a lot of energy. And I just I knew it.
Trust.
I knew in my soul, in my core, and trusting that. And every time I've trusted my intuition, it's always been right. Every time I've not trusted my intuition, revealed that my intuition was right and I should have trusted it. And
yes, exactly. Always.
Big lesson. You can avoid the lessons.
Keep teaching my children that, or work, like,
yeah.
Or I'll give them examples like, oh, my intuition said this, and then I didn't listen. They'll tell me, Mom, you gotta trust your intuition.
They're so gifted. They're so psychic.
Oh my gosh. And like the money stuff with Alex. So I'll have some money triggers, right? So we went to the vet because my dog just appeared one day randomly, like something was off. And usually I would kind of wait. I don't like to jump on things, but I was like, I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to like get her checked out. And it came back like as nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I just like gave the vet $200 for no reason. And it was around Christmas time or something. And he's like, Mom, you just made a donation to the vet.
I love this. I love this.
It's just like any other animal charity that you might want to donate to and support their business. Like they need to pay their staff and they got lots of bills. So
it's like, I love that paradigm. Were they there for part of surrendering into abundance?
I don't think so.
I remember
there's other calls that they've like and stuff. Yeah.
There was like a moment where they were calling you out on something else. I can't remember what you shared. I was like, oh, it was a money thing too. And that actually is so funny because that happened to me when I was working through a lot of money stuff. It's like huge vet bills all of a sudden. Like, I don't know, Opal had a whole thing and emergency, and literally nothing that they gave me helped. I had to get natural remedies, and it was like $600. And I was like, what? It was interesting because I wasn't triggered by it. And I was like, this is showing me that I'm not actually triggered by something I would have been triggered by before. And the cream that I bought actually made it worse that they told me to buy. Stuff, And so, but it was like these things. And, but in those moments, there's another energetic too. You're showing the universe, like, no, you're going to care for your dog. You're going to take care of you and your family. And when we take care of the family unit, more abundance comes. When we nurture life, more abundance comes. It's a code. So when people have children, we're nurturing that, more abundance comes. When we're nurturing a bigger community, more abundance comes.
Oh, I like that.
So long as we're working with source energy or God energy. But it's like AK helping humanity, not entrapping, but it's a code. So like, even before I knew this, like I got Opal and I didn't really know about abundance codes back then. And abundance just started to kind of appear for me to be able to support my little dude and like buy him the most high level quality food and all the things for little dude. But this is why people can have a bunch of kids and not really have a lot of abundance or prosperity, and all of a sudden the prosperity just starts to appear and they're like, how? And it's always the exact amount that they need for overflow. Like it's the more universal laws on this, but we always get exactly what we need. And sometimes we're like wanting that like $1 million a year, $1 million a month or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, where's that money going to go? Firstly, we need to be clear on that. And that is possible. But also, source won't give us too much to be enabled, because then we won't follow our soul path and we won't do our part. It goes into entitlement. We're talking about this in Soul Sale September, by the way, guys. Soul Sale September, it's $38. It's 3.5 weeks. Literally can't believe I'm doing this.
I love that.
It's going to be so powerful.
Yeah.
All the soul sales codes, holy provision. God is my sugar daddy.
Amazing.
But yeah, we won't get too much that we won't show up and do our soul path, which is why we need to know where the money's going. We need to become stewards of money, not just, I need more money to feel safe. No, you need to feel safe firstly to attract more money. Yeah. Somatic work, dry breath work. Secondly, you need to be clear from that grounded place. Now, where is the money going and allocating, and how is that helping you? How's that helping your family, your community, and then eventually humanity? Right. And this is such a law of like conscious wealth. I won't say unconscious wealth because it's a whole other thing.
I like that.
Conscious wealth. Yeah, conscious wealth.
I love that. Yeah. So we're working on creating a whole lot.
Yeah. Wait.
And
okay, you need to pitch your businesses firstly. And I also want to hear about, we have 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left. I want to hear about the house manifestation.
Okay. So yeah, I kind of had this idea that I would wait another year because my children could finish grade 9 and grade 6 at the schools they're in my parents' neighborhood. And, that would kind of just make things like
feel safe.
Exactly. For everyone. Right.
Feel cushy.
But it's funny because the kids were ready to get out of there too. Like everybody was just ready to go. And so after the retreat, I can't remember what happened, but something happened with my energy and not feeling like protected in that space.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to get out of here. This is no more about me just being enabled because it's easier and my parents have the support and everything. So, but it was just like so clear all of a sudden that I wanted to move forward and I wasn't going to be able to create the abundance and the life that I want if I continued to just stay in the comfort.
You need to be in a place that's going to call you forward. And be going to amplify your energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what we're around.
Feel safe energetically.
Feel safe 100%.
That's different.
I've been in this same energetic. I can't remember what I told you at the retreat, because that was one of your intentions, I remember, for the manifestation circle or the intuitive read. I can't remember. One of the two, maybe both. Probably both.
That's all I said there. Yeah. Like, I just want my own home.
And I remember, and it was definitely for the read, because I remember I'm like, oh, this can happen quicker, and this and this and this, and energy buckets. And I'm like, certain laws of like showing the universe you're worthy and what you do with money in order to show that before the greater levels appear, and integrating those codes and those tools. And then, it was something with the energy that it was, when we're too comfortable. I had to
hide myself. That was
you had to hide yourself. And it was, it was too comfortable. And I've been in that situation where it's like, oh, I can't do a podcast because if I'm talking about XYZ, then they're going to judge me. And it's the most contractive energy. So I knew, I read it in your field, but I know that feeling. And then what I learned to be true through my own experience was when we put ourselves in environments, that call us forward, amplify our energy. And then also where we feel safe to be authentically us.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Which sometimes means boundaries in space. Then all of a sudden, we can show up in our highest expression, which is the expression of the soul's blueprint, which is the highest form of abundance, the magnet to abundance. And then that's where we really I see people really start thriving. Like it's when they are like, I'm going to create this environment, whether it's an office or whether it's a different part of the house or whether it's their own apartment. I did a private client who recently moved into a house as well, and like started her own healing room there. And like she had been previously living with her parents and it was safe and it was comfortable. But all of a sudden she's like, oh, I can't do this work here because I can't fully express myself and like do my work. And it literally changed everything. Like opportunities started appearing and like clients, and like I'm like, of course, she's a sick healing center, she lives in the States, but I'm like, dang, I want to go. My friend actually ended up going and she saw my photos. I was like, what is this? This is amazing. But that's it. It's like, and it forces us to like now do the uncomfortable thing and walk the path and like offer our gifts into the world, which can be scary, and receive for our gifts, which can also be scary because it's like, okay, but that's what calls us forward. Every time I've made a big investment in it, whether it's a mastermind environment or whether it's like, I'm going to Denver for this female entrepreneurship event in a few days, whether it's like something like that, or whether it's creating a space or, you know, like just being in an environment where I feel expansive and then I'm inspired to do another, like offer my gifts more, or I'm inspired to create an online container or offer a breath work, or like it's that has always, it's like you quantum leap, but it can be uncomfortable because A, it's an investment, and B, you're like, or like hiring a team member even. But yeah, the environment and energy we're in, it's everything. It is literally everything.
Yeah. And it was certainly made very clear after the retreat that it was like, actually, this is happening now. I'm not going to wait.
We don't need to wait.
And then we were, you know, still not in a rush. Nobody was under pressure to move or anything. Well, we'll just start looking and see what comes up. Right.
Yeah.
And so we hadn't really looked at anything, but we were perusing. And one day I happened to just, it was like 10 o'clock at night and we could have been going to bed. But I got this intuitive hit. I'm like, get the computer. We're going to look at houses right now.
It's just clear your trauma, follow your intuition.
That's what we're going to do. And so then we looked and we like found this really great place, this really cute mid-century home. I know, it's like not even far from here. And it was like the upper 2 floors. So it wasn't just going to be like one floor where everybody's like in the same space. And it's all this like really old hardwood throughout. Like it's just this gorgeous old home, which I love. And and it was like a little bit more of an investment than most of the other things on the market and the rental units. And, you know, and like all the other ones that were kind of the same were also kind of the same. And it was just like, you know. So I was like, no, I want to make a bigger investment because what I'm getting in exchange is better. So let's not be afraid. And it wasn't even that much more, you know, still manageable and actually like pretty parallel in terms of like our finances coming together. So there's a lot more for me because I have to now also, you know, invest in other things to support myself. Which were taken care of so generously by my parents for 3 years. But the place was so perfect and so beautiful. I just said afterwards that like I don't even want to look at anything else. I don't want to waste my time like comparing, and then like nothing else is going to be this. So
how did that feel when you were like this a little bit scared, but this I'm choosing this, I'm worthy of this?
Oh, it felt so good. I just drove across the bridge to Marta Loop and I saw that there was like a blush lane there and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is it. This is where I want to live. And I just texted the landlord right away. Like,
so in that moment when you're like, I'm choosing this one, even though it's more of an investment, you created an identity shift for yourself, which it's like, okay, now this is what I'm worthy of. I owe so much to my dad because now that I like, I'm able to appreciate all the codes he has. I'm like, he has been doing this for so long, like built everything, both my parents from the ground up together, but like from absolutely nothing. But it's the identity of no, I'm worthy of the best. And he always taught me like, you get what you pay for. I had to learn the lesson the hard way and get to take it for 6 days because I had discount airline, let's not talk about it. And then my phone got hijacked and SIM card swapped because I had, anyways, the cheapest, and they happened back to back. And he was like, have you learned your lesson yet? I'm like, yeah, no discount stuff anymore. And I realized it's an identity, it creates confidence. And we show up in that energy because we're literally telling the universe, I am worthy of this. My middle brother does this so well too. Zero shame in asking for what he wants. And he's like killing it financially. Like I'm like, goals, we'll get there. But it's the biggest key is like, I am worthy of this and I'm not settling for anything less.
Yeah.
And when we shift our identity, it shifts how we show up. It shifts how other people perceive us. It shifts opportunities that come in. Our identity creates a personal reality. And so in that moment, I'm so glad you chose that one, because you literally shifted your identity. And if you keep doing this in micro moments, as I know you will, you'll keep shifting your identity more and more and more. And then eventually that'll just be who you are. And it's like, of course I choose a thing that feels expansive, that's going to make me happy, and then you start to enjoy investing in, whether it's a house, like whatever it is, a course, good. Mastermind, like a vacation, first class tickets. You're like, yeah. I enjoy this and I deserve this, and more is coming, and it always comes.
I think
that's an identity too. It is. So much comes down to identity, but the identity is created from, so our diminishment of self is what creates all disease, all financial issues, all relational issues. It's like, I'm not worthy. Those come from trauma imprints, usually from 0 to 7, or they're in the lineage. And so this is why, like, the breath work, it shifted your identity of like, I'm actually worth more than what's happening in that relationship. That relationship was keeping you in a certain identity of, I deserve something that was maybe not great.
Right.
And so, and was continually diminishing your identity as you allowed it. And so you're like, no more. And so you shifted that. You shifted the somatics. You're like, whoa, I'm actually worth more than this. What happens is we clear the trauma, because the belief's stored in the trauma, and the belief is the paradigm that holds the identity. So we shift that, and then all of a sudden you're like, your mind shifted as a byproduct, because the neural pathways literally prune, and then new ones can rebirth, and we go back to our natural blueprint, which is worthiness, which is abundance, which is wholeness, which is I am amazing. Like, I watch my niece and she's like, I'm amazing, and I'm like, yes, you are. It's like, but then somewhere along the line, these moments, somebody says something, and we write the belief, I'm not worthy, I'm bad, I'm evil, I can't do that, I'm stupid, I'm not athletic. And then that becomes our identity until we choose to shift the identity. So like, all of it is identity work at the core. It's like, I just like the somatics because we can get to the core identity and shift it. But sometimes it's just making those choices. And this is where the integration takes place, which is why it's been so fun, like watching your journey, because it's like you continue to integrate. Like, you've come to a number of ceremonies, you came to the retreat, you've done a number of courses, but then you continue to integrate through your life. And that's where you're like merging these things, and it's like, whoa. And then you're like, whoa, I'm literally creating my life. Whoa, I'm creating my reality. Wait, what? I can have this and not have to wait a year. I don't have to like, wait 9 years before X, Y, Z and calculate all this stuff. It's like, I can just actually create from the infinite field of infinite possibility in the now.
We just did
it because I'm worthy. And so like, keep doing those, because those micro moments are everything. You know about micro moments. You've had the transition on it, but I think you have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. So the house, we have a few minutes left. And then you got the relationship back. I'm like, maybe we'll have to even do another podcast. And has the relationship deepened in the best possible way?
Entirely.
Amazing.
Like, entirely. Yeah. And it also inspired him to do a lot more deep work.
You became his muse.
Yeah.
You literally were like, okay, I'm going to choose me now. I'm done thwarting my energy. That clearly didn't work.
Yeah.
Self-abandonment can only be left with people abandoning us or whatnot. Right. And so, when we start to choose ourselves, others start to choose us. So you became that embodiment, not just knowing, others choose me when I choose. No. You were like, yo, I'm choosing me now. And you did the work, these micro moments of you choosing you and the deeper core work. And then all of a sudden he's like, whoa, she's thriving. I'm inspired. This is how we inspire the masculine to rise. It's not through criticism. It's not through nagging. The masculine does not respond to that. They're like, outdoor, just probably for that hot minute why he was like, don't criticize me, because it came out because it'd been building up in that energetic, and everything's energy. So no matter what you said, even if it was like loving words, the energy was like, oh, she's criticizing me. Then they're like, I'm not worthy. Biggest wound of the masculine is I'm not enough. And so by you actually just focusing on you and shifting you, he's like, dang, I'm inspired. And now, like, look at it. That's true embodiment. You should be so proud. Okay. So tell the audience about, so you do healing massage. If you're in Calgary, Alberta, or if you're traveling here, yes, we will link your info.
And then I want to start running courses for people to learn how to parasite cleanse and detox their cells. And it is more of an integrative approach because
it's important.
Yeah, there is physical elements and there's like supplements and things that you take. But you know, one of my teachers always says like the pills are really only like 20% of the work.
I agree.
A lot of it is your nervous system.
Yes.
And your body still has to actually do the job to eliminate things.
Yeah, learn that the hard way.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is not just physical.
Yeah. So empowering our cells, empowering our bodies with energy in a way that is very biochemical. And then adding some more of these modalities, even if it's just like walking in nature and grounding and being conscious of EMFs, journaling. Then there's movement and exercise. And so part of me, I just want to like be on YouTube and have an infinite number of these videos where I teach people different sort of exercises or rehabilitation, muscle strengthening and things like that. So like I have so many ideas.
Okay, so firstly, we'll link your YouTube as well. Do you do one-on-one coaching with us? Because you should.
I haven't started yet. I'm still in the like baby cocoon phase. Again, we've talked about this a lot. Part of me feeling like I don't have the same knowledge as my teachers. They're naturopaths, so they are qualified.
But have you embodied it? Have you done the cleanses multiple times?
Yes, and I'm still learning so much. I feel like I'm still a student.
Karen, the learning never ends. I'm also a student. I'm still in school.
That's so true.
So that's the biggest key is the embodiment, which you have done.
I've done.
So that is coming through so strong. Like when you were saying the course, which you should definitely do. But offering one-on-one coaching. So we'll link that too. We'll link your info for that. If anybody wants one-on-one coaching, I'd recommend not doing a cleanse without like, you know, somebody to guide you through because you don't want to go through what I went through. It was like really bad. Yeah. It was like really bad. That support is so powerful. So we'll link your YouTube. You're welcome. And this is a key. Like I think, don't get me wrong, education is really important. I have taken so many courses on the mind, somatic healing, shamanic healing, Reiki, energy healing, like imprint work. God, what else? Quantum, clinical hypnosis, quantum integration. But the biggest thing I use in mentorship is my embodiment, my wisdom that I learned from all the experiences, which I'm still learning every day. So it never ends. We're never completely like, I've arrived. The moment we do that, so like true. God's going to humble us. Speak from experience. Because there's more nuances and this is it. And so maybe you don't have, and this is soul path stuff, maybe you don't have your naturopath certification, but you have your embodied wisdom. That's the biggest thing. And you will continue to learn. And you have life experiences that people will connect to that your teachers don't have. This is where there is no competition. There is no, like, I have teachers right now and they're amazing and gifted, but they don't have gifts that I have. They have different gifts and they can't explain things in the way I can explain them. So some people resonate with me, some people resonate with them. And this is where we have soul contracts of the people we're meant to help that will resonate with us, our experience, our frequency, our embodiment. I'm also not for everybody. You know, I'm very like intense. I'm fun. I'm like feeling so fun, but like, I'm also crazy. I'm bonkers. Like at the retreat, like I'm bonkers. It's like, so fun. It's next level. It was so fun. But like that full expression isn't for everybody. Sometimes they just need a peaceful, calm healer or Reiki. That's not me.
That's true. I see what you mean. Yeah. Like other retreats can be very like,
yes. And that's perfect. And that's like even one, exactly. In ceremonies and one-on-one sessions. And like, this is where we can bring our codes that nobody else has. And so looking through that
Mhm.
lens of like, oh, I
Yeah.
have wisdom, like, look, you literally, you've walked the path. Because now you can bring manifestation tools, abundance tools. You can bring in, whoa, I was in this type of relationship and I left that and it was scary. That embodiment, certain people who are detoxing are going through that exact thing. They're needing to detox because there's all that like gunk stuck inside of them and shame building up, and they're like, whoa. And maybe the detox is going to help them leave that, or maybe you're going to help guide them out of that and then detox. But this is where sometimes it can be vulnerable telling stories, but it's also very important to tell the stories we're ready to tell. Even like this, people now know your story, right? They're like, oh, I know her, I trust her, she is walking the path, she's not just taking a certification. Because that's not the key. Certifications are, like I said, so important. Like I'm saying this, I'm freaking starting a healing school probably in February, but the biggest key is walking the path, and it's that embodiment, which is actually when I do start Oracle Wisdom Academy. It is coming, guys. I think February, but applications will be coming soon. When I do start it, a lot of that's going to be them embodying it as well and practicing on each other.
Right.
Because if they're not doing that, then they're not going to embody the codes to the level that they can. And the biggest thing, there's too many people, specifically in the like self-help space, healing space, that are just trying to heal other people and they're disregarding themselves, and they're like, why am I stuck? Well, you're stuck because God's not giving you people, because you need to walk the path.
Mm-hmm.
And when we start to do our own reflections, heal ourselves, walk this path, and it becomes not something we do but who we are, then all like the clients start to appear and all of these things. So don't diminish that, because it's a bigger piece than you just having all the knowledge up here.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom is embodied knowledge, and you have a lot of wisdom in this. I mean, you've been doing this at least a year, right?
Oh, 2 years.
Okay, so 2 years of embodied wisdom.
2.5 years, actually, we're coming up on. Yeah.
I did a detox mastermind a while ago, and the dude has 0 certifications. He only has embodied wisdom.
I just had I got a hit as well when you were talking, and it's like the energy becomes so much more powerful.
Yes. So we're going to link her coaching for detox as well. Detox is super important. Honestly, I feel like some of my biggest quantum leaps happened
Amazing.
after. Okay, we do got to run because I do have a call with my mentor, but thank you so much, Karen, for coming on the podcast. Do you have any final words?
Yeah, I guess just like love yourself, because that's where it all starts.
Choose you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easier said than done, but it is the key.
It is. Yes, things will start to shift when you start to choose to take care of you.
100%. Taking care of you, investing in yourself like you did with the house, you know, like your detox, even like the retreat and stuff. All of that stuff is like choosing ourselves. And these micro moments, we have to do both. The micro moments like are super important to integrate all these things. But every time you choose yourself, at least in my experience, things open up. We shift our identity to another level of confidence, of embodiment, of I am worthy because I'm a child of source, of God. And that is literally, I swear, the key to everything. It is the key to everything. All your prosperity, all your provision, the best relationships, the best friendships, the soul business, everything. And it's also a hard path to walk. I'm dyslexic. Oh goodness.
Yeah. I feel like when we love ourselves, we make different choices.
100%.
That for me is the key to shifting.
100%. It's just making sure it was recording.
Yeah, right. Like, no.
Okay. Do gotta run. Bye, guys. Love you so much. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next time on the Prosperity Portal podcast. Thank you for coming. Okay, beautiful souls. I hope that was so inspiring and just shows you what is possible with this deep core imprint work, with dry breath work, with retreat, and with really stepping into your power. If you're interested, I have the application for the May 2026 retreat linked in the show notes. It will absolutely change your life. This year is application basis only to ensure we have people who are really ready to do the work and a really, really supportive environment like we had last year, which was so juicy. Secondly, I have a few spots open for 4-month one-on-one mentorship. This is the most profoundly life-changing container that I have. It is the deepest level of support. We have Zoom calls for 4 months, and you also get access to my signature course, Decoding Manifestation, as well. Lifetime access, must I add. So when we relaunch, you can come to all the live calls, as well as Voxer support throughout the week, which includes at your demand, mini intuitive reads, guidance, me looking into reflections and decoding them and giving you tools on the fly so that the time of your creation of your manifestation is really shortened in this container. If you have not seen the miracles, listen to the other episodes, and I will link a few testimonial videos as well in the show notes. I literally have hundreds of written testimonials as well on my Instagram, testimonial Instagram at Jill Alana Testimonial. So I'll link that below as well if you're interested. This is also application basis, so I will drop that application below. And I hope you have the most beautiful, beautiful week. Blessings. Jill Alana from Jai Incorporated, here for your victory. Hello, Sacred Soul. I hope you loved that episode. And if you did, I would so appreciate if you could share and tag me on the social medias at Jill Alana Nixon. And if this brought you value, I would be eternally grateful if you could leave a 5-star review. And if you did, take a picture and email it to teamjillalananixon@gmail.com, and we will gift you a free cord cutting soul revival mini activation, a Jai activation. Put that in the show notes, the email, and thank you so much. We will see you again next week on the Prosperity Portal podcast.